What up, off the record? It's your boy G. You can see today I'm riding solo, but only for a moment. The reason why I'm riding solo today is that we had guys lined up, man. But life happens. So we have a backup plan, and you see my co-host is not here right now, but he'll be popping up on your screen very shortly, telling you his history and his story about being an entrepreneur. It's a good thing that we're both entrepreneurs outside of Off the Record. So we're going to tell his story. But where we at? Episode 38. Man, it feels so weird, guys. Like, it feels so weird doing this by myself. Where we are is Studio C. You can see it's a cool, chill background. We're out here and we're about to cook up some new content for you guys in the kitchen. So without further ado, let's introduce our boy, H.
What up, G?
What up, H?
What's going on?
That feels right. That feels right.
We can't restart the show. I'm a guest. I'm a guest to the show today, bro.
Today you're a guest.
Okay, bro. So hey, man.
H.
What's good, bro?
Henry Macrery.
Henry Robert
H.
Macrery.
Tell us about your story, bro. Like, we know that you are the co-host on the show, but there are other things that you're actually into that you do.
Sure.
That push you in your entrepreneurial space. So you are essentially an entrepreneur.
A little bit of background. Can't exactly say born and bred. Like everybody's got this born and bred story.
Not you,
Unfortunately,
bro.
mine is a little different to that. So conceived in South Africa.
That's different.
And then my parents were kind of kicked out of the country.
So they're exiled?
They were exiled because my dad's white, my mom's black. I was then born in Malawi because my dad found a job in Malawi. Grew up 10 years of my life, and after freedom, I came back.
Jeez, bro. So you went South Africa and Malawi?
Yeah, so it was South Africa, America, Malawi.
How does America fit into that?
My dad's from the States. We came back in 96 actually, then grew up in Pretoria. So Pretoria boy in Pitori, representing.
So Pretoria only featured
from about the age of 10, 11 years old.
The new Pretoria, bro.
I'm a Pretoria boy.
It's
a Pitori, where the hustle began, where the molding of, this mind kind of, formed and got into place.
So let's talk about that. Let's talk about this forming and the molding of your entrepreneurial space. How did that start when you were, 10 onwards?
I was an intellect growing up. So I was that, proper, I did things right in school.
Yeah.
So I was, top of the class in school, or always in the top 10. I was always prefect or SRC and all of that. My grades were good. So I was in line to kind of be following in the path of my father, I guess.
Sounds right.
The conventional route of learning and education. He's a doctor. I kind of started veering away. I started having a love for the sciences, for numbers, for maths, and all of those things. So the life sciences, or I don't even know what they call them nowadays. I kind of followed the conventional route of things. I always wanted to be a pilot.
Whoa.
Funny story. I qualified for the SAA pilot program.
Oh, damn.
But in the very last minute, I kind of changed my mind and decided, okay, let's do the varsity route rather.
Yeah.
I went to WITS. Yes, it gave me the edge. First year at WITS, I studied aeronautical engineering, so I kind of stuck in the route of being a pilot.
Pilots and flying.
Life happens. You change your mind, you lose track of what you were there for in the first place. You realize what you're doing isn't really for you, and I kind of then decided to fall back into my real passion, which was then biology. So I started doing a BSc, and I eventually graduated.
This man is learned, man.
Eventually graduated with my majors in genetics, microbiology, and biotechnology. Being the natural salesperson that I've always been, I've been selling, dude. I've been selling.
So you didn't start selling the sweets and the cigarettes?
Nah, I didn't have any of that, bro. I sold myself. So I sold myself. So I was always in the position of selling myself, of selling a story. I always became that guy who was center of attention, and people would listen to me. And I would bullshit people all the time, but I would get people to believe in what I was saying and what I was selling. So it was always like a part of who I was. Eventually I kind of fell into insurance sales for 5 or 6 years. It really solidified the fact that my calling was to work with people.
Okay.
I'm still within this kind of sales mindset. I didn't know how exactly it was going to happen, so I bounced around within other sales jobs. I sold printers, I sold car trackers, I sold... So
selling's been in you for a very long time.
It's been, I think for me it was just something that was easy to do.
Okay.
Because the concept is you kind of sell yourself before you sell anything else.
As the saying goes, people buy people.
Exactly. And the most important thing you can sell is yourself to yourself. Once you get that right, everything else becomes easy to sell because you're able to sell yourself to a customer. After that, I kind of had a really bad injury. Things went downhill, rock bottom, and then below. So it was multiple things. I had a bad accident and I injured myself. In the process of all of that, I moved back home with my parents. And I just had a kid at the time as well.
Things were just piling on.
Things kept continuously piling on, and I was forcibly put into a position of reset. Physically, mentally, emotionally, all parts of me as Henry was forced into like a reset mode. I had to go home. I had to swallow that humility pill.
Swallowing your pride is not nice. But
exactly, and going from earning, decent money and being able to do whatever you want when you want to, back at home with your parents.
And relying on them.
And them telling you that you came home late last night. I think it really helped me because it made me, kind of forced me into realigning and getting my act together. The healing and coming out of that space of being in rock bottom was amazing for me because not only did I heal physically, but I healed to a really good place emotionally, and my soul was in a good place. I had a friend of mine who gave me a call and said, look, I know of a guy who's looking for a trainer. And I'm like, I've never done that in my life. And he goes, it's just selling, So this is something you can do. It's selling, it involves teaching people, it involves changing people's lives. I'm like, yo, that sounds really dope. I ended up at Innovation. That's where we met. Exactly. So still not knowing what I was going to do or how or where or even whether it was going to work. And I got into the space and I really started to love it. It really started to give back to me in a way that I never thought could ever happen.
I think at the time it was a great environment to learn.
It was absolutely. And all I did in the 4 or 5 years that I worked there was I soaked in everything. I learned so much from the space that I was in, for the environments I was exposed to, the people I was exposed to. My confidence grew to another level. I was able to pitch anything to people on a CEO level, on managing director levels of massive blue chip companies, so that kind of served as the foundation of who I am today. My favorite thing to say is embrace the journeys, accept and love the detours.
That's true. That's deep, bro.
Because that's really what's going to sort of mold you into who you're meant to be at the end of the day. I believe passions need to evolve.
Of course.
We've spoken about it all the time, like dreams. You can't have one dream and stick to that, and that's your dream for forever, Your dreams need to evolve, and if they do, your passions and the things that you get good at
attached to
will naturally evolve on their own. Innovation kind of undid itself and fell through it
for various reasons
we don't need to go into. Being forced into being out on my own and finding an income and doing stuff for myself and supporting my family. Also, it fell apart with my third son. Just about to be born. So the pressures of all of those things kind of force you into, to making things work. It's no longer, maybe I can try this if it doesn't work. No, there was no other option. So as of like month 1 or month 2, out of that, I immediately had to
make the pus happen.
I had to start
something needed to cook, bro.
Exactly, something needed to cook. Some of the clients that we had called me up and said, hey, you guys still doing what you do? I'm like, that's what we do.
Yeah.
And that was then the birth of Lube the Cube. Slightly before, because we saw the demise of the company coming. So we registered the company, we got it going, and myself and my business partner Vusi kind of, got the ball rolling before things fell off. So that's very important, guys. Don't be oblivious to the bullshit.
See the tsunami coming.
See the tsunami.
See the tsunami coming.
Because there's all the signs. There's the earthquake. There's the swells in the water.
The raising of the water level.
Exactly, all of that. There's the signs. There's the warning signals. And then, if you're still that guy who's stubborn about it, you'll see it coming.
You're still going to be at the beach, enjoying life.
Exactly. So sometimes you've got to take the warnings and start making, plans about it. Like I said before, in hindsight, if it didn't happen, I wouldn't be where I was today. I'd probably still be employed. I'd probably still be a part of living someone else's dream. But now I can fully say that I'm evolving every day and living my dream. First on the roster was Lube the Cube, which is my firstborn child. We do tailor-made training solutions for corporate, for anybody.
Okay, cool.
So you need training done, you need your training supplemented, you need a refresher on your training, you need to make it more current. That's what we do.
So it's not tailor-made just for like a specific industry?
Not at all. Okay. So we've worked with multiple different industries. A lot of the stuff we do is in manufacturing and in the automotive space. Those are our strengths within there.
But it's not limited to that.
Not at all. We've worked with pretty much everyone else, from government to schools to private companies, and so we kind of spread out in terms of our offerings. I still love doing it. I still love having the ability to change lives, to have impact on people's lives. That's probably one of the most fulfilling things.
Of course,
I think also doing that and being, now the owner of this company and doing this for ourselves, started opening other doors. And in the training and in the interactions, we started being exposed more to the marketing side of things. And people asking us, can you do this? Would you like to get involved? And obviously the answer is always yes, absolutely. Even if
figure it out on the way.
If you don't know,
we'll figure it out on the way.
Figure it out on the way. And the marketing and the media side of things, if I can put it that way, kind of started pushing a lot more into the forefront. I started training a lot about it. I started interacting. I started doing a lot of research about it. And, hence the birth of things like offtherecordZA, hence our partnership, hence GMajor, hence things like B-We, which is also still in the pipeline of coming out as well. So I mean, like I said, the evolution of all of these things, none of them are kind of removed from one another.
They all work interdependently.
Absolutely.
What is one of the biggest challenges you've had in creating Lube the Cube, GMajor, all these other companies you've created? What would you say the one biggest challenge is?
Preparedness.
Wow. Never saw that one coming.
100%. 100% preparedness. It's nice to make mistakes and learn from those mistakes. But it's a million times better to go in better prepared. So kind of mapping it out, putting down what your plan is. I think going forward with everything that I do, I've got an ethos of applying it in a 5-point kind of way. Number one, put a plan down. Number two, have a call to action. Number three, what is your desired outcome? Number four, how do you measure it? And number five would be your return on investment. I think it's really important to get those things right, and it's great to do the trial and error thing, but it's so much easier to get into something when you've ticked all the boxes on your side.
That's true, bro.
What
is it? There's a saying that goes, luck is preparation meeting opportunity.
Exactly. And I've had a lot of that. I've had pitches and meetings that I've prepped for and waited for over a year.
And when the opportunity
came, I was the most prepared person in the room.
And then people call you lucky.
Exactly, and it's not luck. People also only see the overnight successes.
Which took 10 years.
It's like another one that I really like that I read recently is that if you see me do something in 30 minutes or something like that,
It took me 10 years
It took me 10 years to learn how to do it in 30 minutes. So I'm not billing you for my 30 minutes, I'm billing you for the 10 years. and
people don't get that.
Yeah, and in reality now, I've been working for 15 years. I'm in a position where the skills that, the skills I've put together to the person I am today is built off of 15 years of experience. The other thing I think any entrepreneur, anybody in business will pick up is money, bro.
That's obvious.
It's money. I'm telling you, but not just the face value of it. So not Mandela, you know, not the fact that you've got it, but also how you use it and how you plan for it as well. I know with Lube the Cube individually, I got into trouble with SARS. I got into trouble with Department of Labor, and it's all because of unknowns, things I didn't prepare for.
Gaining knowledge as well.
Exactly. So it's in the gaining the knowledge, and it's really hard to build a business when you don't have an income. So when you're forced into your business needs to bring or put food on your table and pay for the roof over your head, it kind of puts you in a corner in terms of your ability to allow failure.
Whew.
Because failure is the foundation to learn. But when you're in that position, failure is not even an option.
Nothing's an option.
Yeah, because if you fail, your kids don't have food on their table.
They can't go to school.
Your family doesn't have a roof over their head. You don't have the means to carry on building your business. So it's very important. I know guys want to take the leap and jump and do everything now, but it's very important to plan it out. I've been fortunate that I've had a lot of people who supported me, and my family's been there for me, you know, and not only, you know, just financially, but even just the support that you need to get, the emotional support, psychological support when you're falling apart, when you're drinking too much, when you can't sleep at night and you're up trying to figure out how am I going to put food on my table, to you get to the point where you can start saying, okay, now we can start growing. I've built my foundation. Now it's about the next step and dreaming bigger. No one out there is just willing to just hand out bucket loads of money to make sure that your dream happens, bro.
And the truth is, nobody really cares.
Exactly.
So if you don't care for it and if you don't push it, nobody's gonna do it.
If I just sat back and waited,
nothing's gonna happen. Bro.
Nothing at all was gonna happen. I always go back to something my mom told me about religion and prayer and all of that stuff. Is you can say the prayers, but it doesn't end there. The prayer is not a standalone pillar.
Wait, there's actually a verse that says, "Faith without actions is dead."
Exactly. So
the actions,
exactly.
Bro,
that's just as important because you need to be able to attract it. I believe in energy.
Yeah.
And I believe everything that I've done and every detour, every speed hump, every rock bottom I've hit, you know, every level or layer of rock bottom I've hit has molded me and was things that had to happen to get me to where I am today. Would I take any of it back? No, I wouldn't, because it would completely change who I am and where you are, where I am, where I'm going, and what I understand about myself. So all those mistakes, all the fuck ups, the wrong turns, you know, all of those things are things for me that, you know, help me build a really strong foundation. And all of a sudden now, people are starting to hear my name.
But it took 10 years.
It took 10 years. It took 10 years.
10-year story, bro.
It's a 10-year story. Is
there any one piece of advice you would give to an entrepreneur or somebody who wants to become an entrepreneur? I think you've touched on it a little bit while you were talking, but if you had to summarize it into one phrase or one thing that you would tell anybody who wants to get into business.
I'll go into the name of my business, the first one. Lube the Cube. That also in itself is kind of part of a piece of advice. And how it came about was, you remember, the Rubik's Cube.
Yeah.
So I used to play around with the Rubik's Cube. I always told myself, I'm going to solve this thing one day.
Yeah.
And I set myself time aside to learn how to do it. And I eventually did it. It took me about 3 months. And in that process, I got the name of the company.
Yeah.
And so what it is lubricating business or lubricating things to make them work.
Work better.
To make them, to make them work.
Because that's what lubrication really is.
That's what lubrication really is. I mean, no matter how you look at it, even that way.
Reduce friction.
Reduce friction. Make it work better. So keep lubricating your mind. Is number one. And what I mean by that is never ever stop learning. Never ever stop evolving. Never ever stop moving forward. And never stop dreaming.
Wow. That's simple.
That's simple.
But there's a lot in there.
There's a lot in there, and how you unpack it is up to you. I think the key phrase in that whole thing is evolve.
Sure.
If you get evolve right, you'll carry on your genetics. You know.
Now we're getting into other stuff, bro. But that is some.
You keep going,
That is intense.
Yes. A lot of people tell me that I wasted my time studying something that I never really got into.
You learn stuff.
But in reality, I'm doing the genetics of life right now. And
that's pretty deep, bro.
Figuring it out, you know.
Constant evolution.
Constant evolution. Killing the cancers, killing the viruses, killing the bacteria, making sure
splicing.
You progress. Splicing. What do you know about gene splicing?
Bro, Metal Gear Solid, bro.
we business splicing now, man.
We splice up everything, bro.
Yeah, man. So, and I think the other thing is just stick to it, man. If you really believe in something, there's gonna be, especially when it's close. The closer it gets, the more you're going to feel like it's not gonna happen, and the closer you're gonna feel like giving up. When you get to those moments where the urge to give up is so high,
keep pushing.
Keep pushing, because you're on the precipice of greatness.
It was actually dope having you on the other side.
On the other side.
On the other side.
It's weird not to ask questions the whole time.
But you answered them, which it's also weird for me to just ask all the time.
Yeah, bro.
You know, so guys, it's been a great episode. H, thanks again for having yourself.
For having myself, off the record. Yeah, thanks for having H on the show.
You guys know what to do.
Yeah.
By now.
Yeah. So we're gonna line this up. Like we said, guys, please let us know in advance, those of you who are trying to get on the show, and please give us dates, give us times as well. So we also kind of need to get that right ourselves on the scheduling side of things. The way we're growing and the speed at which we're growing is crazy. We've had a lot of guys hit us up in terms of guys who want to be on the show, which is super exciting.
The scheduling
now we just have to kind of get right. That's why you had the pleasure of having me on the entrepreneur's seat today. Hopefully you picked up or learned a few things on today, and hopefully my journey can inspire you to carry on your journey, man. And Gabe, nice one, bro. Thank you. I must give you the props as well, eh?
I tried, bro.
Yeah.
But guys, comment, share, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, because a lot of content is gonna start coming out. Apart from that, I got 1 deuce, 2 deuce, and we're doing it by myself.
I was gonna say double deuce. Off the record.
Yeah.
And it's a wrap.